This whole year has been the word no for me. Like I've had to learn how to say no.
That's one of my problems, man. I have a hard time saying no, and I always just get myself into some shit. And I always want to please everybody. I always want to make my customers happy and stuff.
Yeah, I definitely want to get into that get into that discussion, because I think there's multiple personalities in our industry, but like there's a select few group of us that are like that type of person. Like we love what we do, we love to create art, we like to get commission work because it gives us like this creation outlet, but also we like to be people pleasers. And it's like, having to say no. Like, I always feel bad when I'm like I stay in touch with my customers all the fucking time. If something I'm like 6 months behind right now. I mean, literally. And I'm almost caught up. It's been, it feels so good.
Yeah, it's rough, man. It is crazy. It's hard. Like, my girl's always telling me that I need to learn how to say no.
This is the Wise Guy Radio Show, a podcast dedicated to educating and inspiring through conversations with today's top talents in the world of glass. We will be dissecting their journeys in hopes to deliver actionable content that you, the artist, can start implementing now, helping you grow not only as a creative spirit, but also a successful artistic entrepreneur. With a little organization, relationship building, and your artistic ability, you can obtain greatness. Climb aboard, whether an artist, retail owner, or enthusiast. We have a ton of fun in store for you. Welcome to the Wise Guy Radio Show. You're listening to the Wise Guy Radio Show. This episode of the Wise Guy Radio Show is brought to you by American Helix. The American Helix is a revolutionary new concept in smoking technology. Designed and manufactured by American glassblowers, this pipe is light years ahead of its time. Based on Bernoulli's principle, the shape of the pipe, along with an innovative intake system, creates a Venturi effect through precision microholes in the chamber, which results in a slower burn that conserves tobacco and gives a smooth, refreshing experience, making the American Helix the smoothest hitting pipe on the market. For further info or to locate their products, you can find them online at AmericanHelix.com. That's AmericanHelix.com. This episode is also brought to us by Glass Roots. Now entering its 8th year, Glass Roots is designed for artists and distributors who wish to do wholesale business with shops and galleries. Located at the Monona Terrace Convention Center in Madison, Wisconsin, Glass Roots showcases the works of over 40 vendors consisting of raw material suppliers, functional and non-functional art, and charitable glass organizations. To stay up to date with Glass Roots, just go to glassrootsartshow.com. That's glassrootsartshow.com. Hey, what's happening? Welcome to the Wise Guy Radio Show, episode number 140. This is Jay Michael, your host, and thank you so much for tuning in today. With 17 years of experience behind the torch, I am as excited as always to bring you conversations with artists, sharing their stories in hopes to inspire and entertain, while helping you grow your business. And today is no exception. Today's guest is featuring Scott Tribble, a.k.a. Scoz Glass, a.k.a. Scoz, a.k.a. the Dragon Slayer. Scott is an awesome dude, very humble, and a mover and a shaker in our industry. We get into a lot of conversation about how he went through the process of developing his voice, which has become his Dragons, why he sometimes feels like it's a double-edged sword when you do find a voice in the industry, and also his ideas about the creative process and also changing up his work here and there just to kind of keep the creative fluids and juices going. And because a lot of us do the glass, not because of the money, but because we just love the medium and the art itself and the creation process. We also get into talking about delegating roles. His wife is his quote-unquote manager. She basically helps him with emails and stuff. We get into that conversation. And just why it's important that after a certain amount of time that you've been doing this as a business, when it gets to a point to where you really need to bring an assistant on to help you do things like errands and pack orders and blah, blah, blah. So we definitely get into that depth of that conversation, as well as into talking about his dogs and where he lives out in Washington and all kind of good stuff. So I definitely hope you enjoy. Also wanted to remind you, if you have not yet taken advantage, myself and Mountain Glass have teamed up this month as a big thank you to you listening to the show and for all the downloads and support. We are giving you a 35% extra bonus discount on North Star first quality rods. This includes the Wonder Bars, the Illuminati, and Lucy. But other than that, North Star first quality is 35% off. When you go to checkout, just put in the code WNS, and you'll receive your 35% off. And again, thank you for this year of support. If you're new to the show, thanks for tuning in and checking us out. It's definitely a good episode to check out and get on board. The past couple episodes we've had have been awesome. Artists have come on, as well as the last one we had with episode 139 with Matty Funk, talking about Nortel and the new Arrow coming out. So definitely been having a good month, bringing on artists and having lots of fun with these conversations. So I definitely hope you have enjoyed this one and also previous episodes. And episode 141 will be the next time we will have a trivia question, so stay tuned for that. It will be something that is pertaining to this episode in particular, or maybe an episode before this, or maybe one before that. So definitely stay tuned for 141 for that question, and we'll be letting you know all the details then. But until then, website is coming along, wiseguymedia.com. I spent yesterday, put up 10 episodes every day. I'm going to be putting up a couple here and there, since I now have over 45 artists that have come on board, and then also, if you figured, 140 episodes, a couple best ofs here and there, but definitely take some time and patience, but it's getting there. So thanks for your patience for waiting for me to get this going. Had a super late night last night. I haven't really been doing late nights in the studio, and last night, just with having a small window, well, I spent half the day yesterday working on the website, getting my exercise in, doing some house stuff, and then working on my frickin' shower. And had some help with some friends through Instagram, which I love our community because everybody's reaching out and willing to help and share their knowledge and experience that they have. And definitely got some help through that and got my shower working. And then I went off to the shop and was there till 3 a.m. Working on some glass and getting things done for the holidays. So I'm a little bit pooped out here, as those are cranking away right now and understand the madness of the holidays and getting things done on time so we can order and get all of our stuff shipped out. I'm going to be posting up on my Instagram all the dates that the post office has for when you need to have your stuff shipped to make sure it's all done and sent out by Christmas. That is ticking away. I think we have like another week and a half left until we can guarantee that stuff will arrive. Oh, excuse me. Holy shit. That stuff will arrive by Christmas. So stay tuned for that. And if you are wanting just to check it out now, just go, well, actually, you will probably see the post before this comes out, because this is coming out on Friday, and I'll be posting this beforehand. So right now it is currently today's Tuesday. Today's Tuesday. Holy shit! But it's actually Friday when this is airing. So you're listening to this on Friday. I'm recording this on Tuesday. We're gonna travel through some time, so you're coming back in time and forward and back, and yeah, I'm not even gonna start singing. So I'm going to stop rambling, let you go, get into this interview. Hope you enjoy episode 140 featuring Scott Tribble. You can check him out on all the social feeds. You can go to Scoz Glass Instagram, Scoz Glass Facebook. Also, we'll have the links in the show notes. Check him out along with some pictures. And you can go to wiseguymedia.com/140 will be his page there for you to check out. And as always, if you have not yet gone and left us a review, please do so. I'm going to start next week going on iTunes and starting to give some shout-outs to reviews and what have you. And because I definitely am grateful for the reviews and for all the 5 stars we've had. The way iTunes has their grasp on podcasts, the more reviews and stuff that an activity it has on their actual page, the more the show gets promoted, which pushes it up in the ranks. And then it gets exposed to a wider, broader audience. And a lot of us out here that are doing the glass and love what we do, we definitely want to expose as many folks to what it is that we do. So by you going on there and leaving a review and just telling me whether you like the show or not, which I definitely enjoy the good and the bad feedback because I need to know how to make this better for you. But definitely please go to iTunes and do that. You can also go to wiseguyradio.com. If you scroll down the page a little bit, you'll see where I have 2 different links. One is for those that have a Droid. You can click on there and subscribe to the show through Stitcher. And on Stitcher, you can leave a review. And then also I have a link for those that have an iPhone for the iTunes thingy there. And then you can go on iTunes and just search for the show, Wise Guy Radio. It'll bring you to the page. You can leave a review and go from there. So definitely appreciate all the love and support. And until next time, I'm getting the hell out of here. Talk to you soon. Have a beautiful day. And we'll talk to you on the next episode of the Wise Guy Radio Show. Take care. Peace. Hey, what's up, Scott? Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up?
Not much, man. So we got Scotty Tribble on, a.k.a. Scoz, out there. All you all know Scoz Glass and his badass dragons. And amongst other things, we'll be getting into discussion today. And part of what we want to talk about is the idea and the process of finding your voice in your glass and in your art or whatever in life in general. And I really find Scott's work to be one of the artists out there who has found a canvas that has created that he can change up and manipulate and make it look badass. And I know all you out there listening to this agree with me as well as himself. So, but before we get too crazy, brother, if you want to start off by giving us your origins, like where you got started, who introduced you to the flame.
Yeah, for sure. So, basically, I've been doing this for about 17 years. I got started just kind of on my own, actually. I didn't really know what I was doing. I kind of fumbled around for about a year and a half, 2 years. I had a book. I had actually Contemporary Lampworking, Volume 1 was the book I picked up. And I knew somebody, I had a friend, and his sister was dating a guy in Hawaii who was a pipe maker. And I picked his brain, and he told me to get that book. And so I went and I got that book. And for about 2 years, I fumbled around, and I sucked. I was terrible. I'd make really terrible pipes and stuff, and I'd go and I'd hustle them around to like all the different cigar lands and the little head shops and stuff. And that was a struggle, for a while. And eventually I met, hold on, let me get my door open here.
Yeah.
Door gets jammed. But I met Jared Betty, and we were snowboarding at Stevens Pass, and we used to both ride all the time. And I ran into him in the snowboard park, and we were just kind of like, didn't even say anything, but I noticed he was throwing down. He was ripping off these jumps, and he was doing these huge backside corkscrews and stuff. And we kind of had this little competitiveness between us before we even knew each other, where we'd see each other in the park. And this happened for a couple times. And then one day I saw him at the bar, like right after we were snowboarding, and we were talking. And then I was like a terrible glass blower at this point. And he was like actually pretty good. He had already had 5-6 years under his belt, and he was actually like really good at that time for what was going on. And he was making fully colored tubes with all full wig stacks and like all the patterns, all the line work. And he was killing that like 15 years ago. Like this is pretty crazy. And so anyways, we started talking about glass, and he invited me out to his place, and he actually lived pretty close to me. And so I went over there and we hung out, and I needed a place to stay at the time. I was living in a place and like needed to move. The landlord was like selling it or something like that. So anyways, I went and I rented a room from J-Red, and I set up a little spot in the garage there. And, he kind of helped me. He kind of helped me figure out some of the techniques and some of the stuff I was doing wrong. And it was really hard for me to learn from him because we have such different styles naturally. I grew up playing with clay and making like things out of clay, like dragons and all kinds of fantasy stuff and just weird characters and goblins and stuff. And so it was just something that was really hard for me to like change my style because he was so machine-like. Like he would make all these perfect patterns and wigwags and perfect shaped vessels and stuff. And it was like very different from what was inside of me, what I really wanted to do. So I kind of got sidetracked for a little while off of what I feel like was my authentic path. And I ended up just rolling with like trying to learn kind of like what he was doing in those styles more, because that's what I had around me to, that's what I had to learn from. And so I got pretty good at making all these line works and all these big discs and big, tubes and vessel shapes and all this stuff. And then after I got kind of used to, learning how to blow glass like the right way from J-Red, then I could, a few years later, I could start applying that in my own direction and start doing some more sculptural stuff. And for a while, I was like really inspired by Robert Mickelson. He has an old body of work called the Organism series. Mm-hmm. And he made all these like really wild, just abstract sculptures, and they're awesome. Like they're so cool. And I freaking saw that. I saw his web page, and I was just blown away by these pieces. And it was not necessarily the technical skill that goes into creating these pieces. It was more of his imagination, his vision. It was just the creation when it was done. It was something that was so cool and beautiful and awesome. And it didn't really matter how hard it was to make. It was just about what it was when it was finished. And I really admired the way his mind worked. He could come up with these awesome things. And it really connected with me. So I kind of like was inspired by that. And I went off into my own series of pieces that were kind of like similar but different. And that was kind of fun. For a while I did that. And it was just like really abstract kind of sculptures, and then sandblasted and oil painted. And you have this kind of like pastel effect where you can fade the colors. And it's like as a matte finish. It's not all shiny like glass usually is. It's just kind of a cool style. And that was fun. And then, that's pretty slow. And then I was selling them here and there in like galleries and stuff. And I made a living, but it was really pretty meager. And then like the whole pipe thing started to blow up, and this industry just started to take off. And I had a couple of friends around me. I was still doing the art thing, and I was still making pipes on the side and stuff, but I was like mostly focused on trying to make these abstract art pieces. And then I had a couple of friends around me who were just like starting to take off in the pipe game, and I was like, damn, that's what's up. so,
Yeah.
so I started like, and it's not like I ever stopped doing that. I was still in that, but that's just where it started booming. So I just changed my focus back to the pipes. And for a while it was like the bigger was better. So we were making the biggest, craziest things we could. We used to make pieces that were 4 feet tall and just like huge discs and giant spikes all over them. And
yeah, 40
like
perks.
yeah, man. And like Yusheen inspired a bunch of that, I think, because there was a period in time before the oil thing blew up where it was all about big flower pieces. And we'd make these giant fucking bubblers, these massive, huge bubblers. And Yusheen was kind of the master at that. He would make these giant fucking discs with like symmetrical spikes flowing down the whole thing. And like, they were so beautiful and they were so fucking awesome looking. And I remember all of us glass blowers, we were just we'd see that shit and trip like, damn, that's what's up. And I made a bunch of pieces that were kind of inspired by that. I mean, me and like 100 other glass blowers, like Yusheen pretty much inspired like everybody at that point in time.
Yeah, pretty much. Myself included.
Yeah, I mean, Yusheen's awesome. You know what I mean? He's an amazing glass blower and an amazing person. He's just rad. And so, that was a kind of an interesting time. And I remember we'd end up at these different events, and everybody would have their big crazy pieces, and then it totally took like a huge turn. Like one year it was like from the biggest piece you could make to the smallest piece you could make, and then that's like where it stayed. And now it's kind of seems like it's slowly transitioning back now into some bigger pieces. People are starting to appreciate some of that, but small pieces are still popular. And it's like instead of so much focus being on these big artistic crazy pieces, it became more about function and more about some of these the Kleins and the recyclers and all these different scientific style functions and stuff. And then intertwining that with some different sculptural or coloring stuff or whatever, to make it more of an artistic piece. But yeah, it's just a trip. You see the whole scene and the where it all goes, and going from the biggest piece ever to the smallest piece ever.
Yeah, man, it's crazy, right?
That was a weird time for me, because I spent my whole life trying to make the biggest shit I could. You know what I mean? I always thought that's what we thought. We thought that's where it was going. You're gonna like separate the men from the boys. We were gonna make the biggest shit we could, and it was gonna get recognition, and we were gonna get paid. And that's not how it went at all. I made all these
quite the
giant
opposite.
pieces, and I was like, I was stuck with all these huge pieces. Like, I need to find buyers for these, and now nobody wants them because everybody wants small stuff. And everybody wants to look at it and say, wow, that's cool, but it's hard to find a buyer for something like that.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, I struggled for a while, because that was the point in time where I was like, okay, back to the drawing board. Like, everything I've been working for the last fucking 10 years isn't really a thing anymore. And so now I got to find a way to fucking make a living, basically. And so I just kind of messed around with some different rigs and stuff. And I used to make these little beakers, these little bongs, and they just had like a fume input. I love fume. I used to make all kinds of fume marbles. There was a couple of years where I made a living off just fume marbles. And so like when the oil thing blew up, I started making these little beakers with a little fume input. It was like a half of a marble, basically, like bulging up in the bottom of the beaker, and like with the water over it and everything, it would just like magnify all the fume, and it just made it look super trippy and cool. And it was kind of a cool thing, and those kind of caught on. And like I sold a bunch of those, and I got tired of that, and I wasn't ever totally happy with that product either. And so I started messing around with other sculptural things and stuff. Just made a dragon one day, and I actually have made a few dragons way back, like years and years and years ago. But decided to make another dragon, and it came out really cool, and I was stoked on it. It was like, oh, this is awesome. I want to make some more of these. And then people just kept ordering them, and that's not a bad thing. So I just kept making them, and here I am.
Right.
150 dragons later or something. I don't know how many I've made, but
yeah,
they keep evolving.
Cool.
The weird thing about the dragons is they actually take me longer to make now than they did back then. And you would think that like the more you develop your process and the more dialed in you get, the more practice you get, the faster it all goes. But that's not the case for me at all. I feel like they take me longer now than they ever did. And it's just like I keep trying to make them tighter. I keep trying to make them better. The new wing style and new extra details, and just bigger, thicker arms, like more color and more glass all around.
Yeah.
Not even a bigger dragon, but just more glass, just beefier arms and, you know, thicker glass and everything. And they're just so much cleaner and so much tighter now than they ever were. But they take me way longer, and like the price hasn't gone up too much. So it's like I actually make like quite a bit less money now than I did like a year ago.
Right.
But you know, that's the compromise sometimes, or that's the sacrifice you make, you know, to feed your soul. I don't feel good about myself putting work out there that I'm not 100% satisfied with. Especially when I make something for a customer directly, like I want that shit to be perfect, and I'm such a perfectionist, you know, and it's like something doesn't come out perfect, I'll just fucking put it on my bench, and I'm like, okay, let me, you know, start over, basically, because I really care more about the quality of my work than the money I get for it.
Yeah, man, I'm in the same boat. I've had several pieces where I've like done them 3 times or 4 times just to get that shit down. Just because I wanted it to be like you're saying, I wanted it to be perfect. If someone else has ordered this specifically, it's got to look like I want it to look.
Yeah, man, and that's you know, and we got to think about, why did we start blowing glass in the first place? I didn't get into this for money. When I got into this, it was 17 years ago, and there was no money. There wasn't such thing as a rich pipe maker. There wasn't such thing as a famous pipe maker. It just didn't exist. Let me let this crazy dog out. Go get him, Ned. There he goes.
Is that snow I see? Holy shit, dude.
Yeah, all the snow out there.
Yeah, it's crazy. We got a bunch of rain right now coming through. We got a little cold front coming through. It's been in the 80s. I actually was sweating last night while I was sleeping, so it's fucking sucks. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, but, it's cold out here, man. Like, we got all the ski resorts just opened, and we just got dumped on.
Killer.
I'm pretty excited to go shred.
Yeah, I bet. I've been in snow one time in the last 40 years.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm spoiled. For lack of a better term.
Yeah, man. But yeah, you know, that's like back to what I was saying. It's like we got into this for glass. That's the only reason we got into this.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted to create stuff out of glass. Like, there was no money, there was no fame, so what else was there? It was just to make stuff.
Yeah.
And now you get all these kids, and I'm not hating on the kids now. That's totally cool. Like, that's just the natural way things are. Something becomes cool, it becomes popular, people want to do it, whatever. But back when we got into this, it wasn't like that. You got into this only for glass. You didn't get into this for money or fame. And now a lot of kids just see dollar signs, or they see, you know, status, or, you know, they want to be cool. They want to get in on the scene. And that's cool too. I'm not hating on that, but it's just different now. It's a different dynamic.
Yeah, I think those that have that attitude or that perspective will eventually phase out, you know? Like, there's a huge influx right now of a lot of, I mean, the last 5 years. I mean, fuck, the scene in Florida alone is just blown up like crazy, and there's some amazing talent out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good glass blowers popping up. Have your own voice. Like, strive to find. And I can't really say that I'm that guy. Like, Dragon is not like a very original thing. A lot of people make dragons and stuff. So, but still, as an artist, I still want to strive to have a more original, creative thing that I can produce that's like only my own. You know, strive to be the only one who makes what you make. Not to make what you make, not to make the best Klein, because there's already, you know, 100 people out there making Kleins, or not to make the best mini tube, but just to make the only of whatever it is you make.
Yep.
If you're the only one who makes that, that's tighter than making the best Klein.
Yeah, I completely agree. Well, it's like with my owls, like there's like a lot of folks out there that make owls and stuff, and like mine are totally like your dragons, dude. Like, they're totally different than what's out there right now. And when I make these pieces, when I do like a nicer, like I have my production line of them, but when I do like a nicer piece, I try to make sure that out of all the owls out there, that this is the best one that, in my opinion, that I feel is being created at the moment. And there's a lot of amazing artists out there that are making owls, but for me, I strive to make the best at that moment of that specific item in that niche, because, you know, that's the thing, is really niching down. Then once you find your niche, like your dragons, dude, I could put your dragon next to Mike Luna's dragon, and they're totally different. You can tell them apart.
They are totally different.
Or next to Joe P. You know, I mean, they all you guys have. You know, there's a lot of dragons out there that they all stand out alone. You know, they're not.
And that, you know, and that's the thing, is if you're gonna do something that's already a thing, at least do it with your own style. You know.
Yeah.
But even better, do something that's not even a thing yet.
Yeah.
Create something that's completely different. And it's like, that's what I want to do. And I do stuff like that, but people don't want to buy it. So I get, you know what I mean? We were talking about that. Like, I create something that's just kind of abstract and crazy that no one's ever seen before, or something that I think is really cool and awesome, but it's totally different and totally original. And because of that, it won't sell. Like, nobody wants to be the first, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Once something becomes a thing, it's like the Scoz Dragon, it's a thing. Or like, you know, whatever it is, whatever the piece is, a coiled bear or a monkey or whatever, anybody's, any known piece that's a thing already, those sell because it's like known in the scene. But you make something that's like different, it's hard to sell it. And it's kind of sad because ultimately this industry could have so much more like creative, cool pieces coming out. But I feel like as an artist, you're kind of limited to what you can make by what you can sell. Or not really limited to what you can make, but you're limited by what you can sell, because we all need to make money. We all need to pay our bills. Mm-hmm. So you make something that you think is really cool, and it's, it sits around, it doesn't sell, and it's like, okay, back to whatever your hustle is, whatever your bread and butter is. And it's important to have that. It's important to have something that you can have as your bread and butter, that people know that's your piece, that has your name on it, your style to it, or whatever. And you can always fall back. You can always fall back on that, but you got to take a break from that, and you got to explore other styles, and you got to explore other things just to feed your soul, because there's two things you can do in this game. You can feed your wallet, or you can feed your soul. And some pieces, you make to feed your soul. It's like you make the coolest thing. That's something that's in your brain. It's something that's been trapped in your brain for a while, and you're like, I really want to get this out. And then when you do, and you actually pour your heart and soul into it, and it comes out tight, it's like one of the best feelings in the world. And then it's a little discouraging later if you can't sell it or something. Like that gets kind of weird, because you're like, why is this thing that I think is the coolest thing ever, like nobody else wants to buy it, or whatever. And that gets kind of discouraging. But you gotta try to just ignore that and just go with what you feel inside you, and feed your own soul, and like do what makes you feel good. And the best thing is if you can find a piece that feeds your soul and your wallet. And that's kind of a hard thing to do, especially because it becomes repetitive, and it's hard to feed your soul when you're making the same thing over and over and over. Yeah. So when you dig into a new style, or you get something new going, and you feel really good about it, that, and you feel that excitement in you, and that it's like, I can't even find the word for it, but it's like the best feeling there is, and that's like something you can't let go of. It's easy to get so caught up with cash and trying to make money that you lose track of like what maybe your real path should be. And like sometimes if you really think about it, like what your authentic path might be, what you're like meant to create, might be like a way harder of a thing to like turn into money at first. It might be like something that could be a struggle for a couple of years, but then eventually it could boom and be bigger than it could have ever been, had you just been doing your regular thing. Like, so you're grinding out making these dragons. I'll keep making them, and I'll keep making decent money, and that's cool, and I like making them. But I feel like it's plateaued, and if I were to make a new style that's really where I can just really dig in to pour something crazy out of my soul, that's just awesome that no one's ever seen before, it might take a long time to catch on, but if it ever does catch on, it has the potential to be way bigger than the Dragons. And I think that's kind of like what Banjo's done. He's kind of dug a little deeper. He's reached like way down into his soul, and he's pulled out some amazing stuff. And it's so amazing that it's like undeniable. And now he's kind of like getting that response, where he can get a piece and he can make a piece, and it's like looks like $100,000, and he'll sell it for that. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, right. I know, like the auction the other day that Michigan Glass Project had going on, that 40 grand, it's fucking, and
it's
I
nuts.
love it, dude.
And so, and we all want to be there. We all want to do that. And you can't do that unless you follow your soul and you really follow what's inside of you. Yep. It's hard to fake that. You can't, you can't. You can fake it, and you can do okay. You can make money. You can be successful, but you're never going to reach your full potential unless you follow what's really inside your heart.
Yeah, man, totally. Yeah, he's somebody I want to get on the show before the year ends, because I definitely want to like pick his brain on his process, because like we talked about pre-show, it's like there's so many hats that we wear between the marketing and the packing orders and emails and social media. I mean, that's not even including having to order materials that we need and figure out our checklists. Like there's so much shit that we have to take care of, and if you have someone helping you do that, it helps to alleviate some issues where you can truly just focus on your stuff behind the torch. And like we said before, it's not always easy to delegate and to find someone to help you out, or to even to have trust in somebody, because there's so many people in this that are wanting to get into the industry, and they may come in the industry for like 2 months. They may learn a little glass or something, and then they're like, oh, I could do this forever, and then they bail on you. And so like I was telling you pre-show, like I made sure, like I set it up to where like the first 90 days there was no pay. You got to prove yourself. There's no glass, no torch. It's just you're gonna come in here and learn how I do my shit, and then if I feel you've proven yourself, and then I'll give you a chance to get on the torch, because that's how I was showing it. Like I took me 6 fucking months of sweeping floors and filling little bottles with glitter. Like I did the Renaissance Festival tour for the first year, and I sat and watched my master, who was a 35-year master sculptor. This dude was fucking crazy what he did, like making dragons and like all kind of Renaissance themed stuff. But I made sure when I was in there filling these bottles of glitter, I was watching him from a distance on his torch doing his thing. So when I got on the torch, I felt more comfortable. But that being said, it's like it's definitely not easy to do. But to be able to get on the torch and, like you're saying, just like let it all go and dig deep and really find what your fucking voice is. Man, that shit, I mean, it's, it could bring you to tears sometimes when you're at the torch and you really find that, it's like it's an emotional experience.
Yeah, it totally is. I've definitely cried a few times just thinking about art and glass and everything, and just just life and this whole path and the way everything's going, the way everything's turning out. It's so crazy. We do this. I've been doing this for so long, and you kind of get to a point where you get beat down for so long in this industry, because you got to think there was no money in this forever until those last couple of years, So you do this for so long, and you just keep getting beat down by it, and you start to think that it's never going to happen. You start to just get in this train of thought where, okay, I'm just going to be poor forever. And you accept that because you kind of do what you like. But you think that's the price of doing what you like. Like, okay, I get to blow glass and like make pipes and stay and work at home. But, the cost of that is I'm going to be poor forever. And I kind of like had that in my head. You know what I mean? It was so many years of just struggling that you don't really think it's ever going to blow up. I mean, I remember me and J-Red working, 10, 15 years ago, sitting around talking like, what if this shit blows up in the future? You know what I mean? We might be in a pretty good spot. And then somehow it does. And it's crazy. It was like, we didn't really think it was gonna, but we kind of hoped it would, and
yeah.
And it's not like I'm balling over here. I still scrape by, but it's like, it's able to be a real job. Before it was like, okay, eventually, like I could live with a bunch of buddies and we could all chip in and get a house for rent. You know what I mean? And pay $500 for a room or whatever and scrape by. And it was like, okay, eventually I'm going to have to get a real job if I ever want to buy a house or ever want to do anything. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so it was kind of thinking about like, okay, what am I going to do in the future? Like, I got to figure this out and maybe quit blowing glass and do something else. And like right when I'd started to kind of like become my thought, not that I was going to quit blowing glass, but that I might need to find a real job, just for some income on the side. And right when that started becoming like a thing, like, okay, I'm going to focus on that. Then the industry kind of started changing and it started turning around, and I started seeing, a lot of money coming in, a lot of people paying attention and stuff. And so it's like, okay, well, maybe this will work. And then, here we are a few years later, and it is working, and it's, it's amazing. And it's easy to look at these other guys around you, especially guys when you teach a guy how to blow glass, or you bring a guy up under you, and then within a couple of years, you've been doing this 17 years, within a couple of years, they're making more money than you. And you're just sitting there scratching your head like, what the fuck? I've been doing this my whole life. I fucking taught these guys how to do this shit. And then like 2 years in, they get paid 10 times more than me. Right. It's like, it's so crazy. You just makes your fucking head spin around. And it's easy to it's easy to get bitter and stuff. It's easy to get down a bad path right there. But you got to just, you can't think about it like that. You can't compare yourself to other people. It's just a bad path to go down. You got to fucking focus on you and do you, and use that as inspiration. Use that as motivation. If your buddies can do it, you can too.
Yeah. So I think on that same talk, it's like for instance, my brother, he's been doing this now for, I want to say 7 years. I got him introduced and I gave him a good foundation, and now he's fucking killing it. Like he's selling stuff for numbers I wouldn't even think about. I mean, I'm kind of, people tell me I'm too humble for my shit, but like,
it's crazy.
Yeah, dude, like he'll go to a place with 30 grand worth of shit and sell it all within like 2-3 days, at a show or whatever. And it's like, I'm so fucking proud of him for doing that. And I have to make sure that I stop and let him know that there's no jealousy or envious or none of that kind of shit. And then I also like pick his brain, like, how are you going about marketing yourself? Because like the generation underneath, I'm sure you and I are very close in age, and like the generation underneath us, and I know the millennials get a bad rap for stuff, but like the one thing with the millennial generation is they're all about socializing and talking and being amongst their friends and their people and their tribes and selling their shit amongst their tribes. And if you can build a good tribe, like my brother's done, he's got a great following. He can go anywhere in the fucking country and say, hey, I'm doing a pop-up show tonight, and like, maybe 20 people show up, but probably 18 of those 20 people are going to drop $2,000 to $3,000 on a piece. You know what I mean? And and that just fucking throws more fire in his shit, and I fucking love it. It's just, and he just moved to Colorado, so now he's like moved out of Florida. I've always, I shouldn't say I always wanted to move out of Florida, but he's like the first one in my family really to get the fuck out of Florida in a while.
What I think part of that is that these newer guys, they come in and it's a different mentality. Like I said, I've been doing this so long that it was back when there was no money in it. Mm-hmm. Those guys never experienced that. And when you set your prices, you already have an established price. When you've been selling something for a certain amount of money for 10 years, the price is already established. And it's hard to be like, okay, this was $50, but now it's 5,000, because people don't, you know what I mean? They're like, he paid $50 for that. So it's hella hard to raise your prices on your pieces when you already have an established price. You have these new guys, they come in the game, they don't even have an established price, and they're just like, oh, I just made this little bong and I want 10 grand for it or whatever, some crazy price. And some of them get lucky and they get it. And, you know, old school guys like me, we just like scratching our heads like, what the fuck's going on, you know?
Dude, totally.
But, you know, you can't, like I said, you can't let that shit bug you. You just got to use it as fuel and get on it, and hopefully, you know, it can happen for you too. It's hard, man. It's weird to be in this something forever. I compare it a lot to music. You know, it's a lot like the music industry. You can have, you know, some new guys blow up out of nowhere. It's not like it's really about how long you've been doing this. It's just there's all kinds of factors into blowing up, and it's not all about skill either. It's just it's a weird mix of stuff that it takes.
Yeah, we should all like take like what the Eagles have done, the band, for the years, and be like, okay, this is our reunion tour. You know, like every 5 years we like break up and then come back together and make $100 trillion. You know?
Yeah. Right.
You know, because
there's some weird stuff like that. You know what I mean? People get all crazy hype, and they get elevated up onto some crazy hype level where they make any little thing and it sells for some insane amount of money. You know, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, man. You know, and I think, like, you know, going back to the initial part of the conversation, talking about like how things were in the industry, how it was like really big. Like I remember when Nate Dizzle first posted like one of his first Swiss Perks. Thing was like 6 foot fucking tall. You know, it's like just gigantic thing. I'm like, it takes like 4 people to smoke out of this thing. You know. And,
yeah.
You know, and to see where we are now, we've all had to pivot and learn the industry, and now it seems like the industry is at a point where it hasn't like settled down, but it's like it's at this kind of plateau where all these techniques that we've been learning over the last decade or 2 decades have all come together now. So we can go big, we can go small, we can do wig, like your dragons, for instance. You know, every time I see them, they're different. Your wings are different. You have crushed opals, you have dichro, you're doing wigwags, you're collabing with somebody. There's like all this shit going on. So it's like our generation that has this massive, huge bag of tools. In the long run, I think we'll be better off than the newer guys that are just filling their bag with tools. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know,
I don't know.
I don't know.
I feel like you're right about that, but I also have some other thoughts about that, I guess. It seems like for me, it's like I've always spent so many years bouncing around, trying this style, trying that style, learning how to make line work, learning how to make fume stuff, learning how to make, you know, tubes and vessels and all these different vessel shaped things, and then learning how to make sculptural stuff. And it's like you bounce around so much, it's so hard to get really good at one thing. You're like a jack of all trades at that point. It's like you're not the best at anything, and it doesn't do shit for you, you know?
Yeah. But that's me. But I agree, and then I don't, because I think like because you have learned all this stuff over the years, again, you can take your dragon that it's become your canvas, and you can do fucking anything with that thing, with those now, you know, and be able to have your creative outlet. I know, like we talked pre-show, you want to be able to get into more abstract artwork and not just do sculptural stuff, which I totally get, because like I feel your dragons, you know, which is like my high end, the wise guys I make. It's like my high-end production. Like your dragons are like your high-end production line, because it's the same piece, same pose, same look.
Yeah, exactly.
You change the canvas, but, you know, so you're not having this feeling of you're being able to express yourself creatively as if you did like some abstract something that, like David Colton, for instance, you know, like his work's been abstract since like day one, and everybody's like understands.
Some of my favorite stuff is his old stuff off glass pipes.
Yeah, dude, right? His old.
When I first saw him on there, I was like, wow, I love this.
All the old graffiti shit, you know, and people understand that and they recognize it, and that's how he's kind of grown his name. But I wonder if he was finally like find quote unquote a high-end production piece that's his voice, and he just repeated this thing every couple weeks. If that would take off, or if he would be more known for his abstract stuff, you know what I mean? It's kind of this weird catch-22.
It's hard, man. It's like, you know, it's like I was telling you, it's like I love making the dragons, and so it's not such a bad thing that I keep getting orders for them and that I can keep pushing these out, because it is something I'm really passionate about, something I've been into forever. You know, I used to make dragons out of clay when I was a kid, and all different kinds of different stuff out of clay, but dragons was always a reoccurring thing. And you know, like I have this abstract style that I like to dabble in, and I like to make these weird abstract kind of flowy things. And it's always based on just like shapes, flowing shapes together, and colors, good contrasting colors, or, you know, whatever. I see these things in my head and they're always just really abstract and crazy. And it's like, sometimes I'll make one and it'll be kind of just to feed my soul, like I was talking about, something for me. And and it's better and it's even cooler if it sells, but like those pieces don't tend to sell that fast. For some reason, it's like the world's not ready for it. It's not already a thing. It's not established. I don't know. Maybe, I mean, I can't really say people don't dig it, because when I post one, I get a ton of likes and a ton of compliments on it. Like, people really like it. They really respond to it, but there's just not a bunch of buyers trying to buy it. And it's like, I got people waiting on dragons and stuff. So it's like, I got to make money. I got bills. So I always fall back on those dragons. But here and there, I like to just go out and make something funky and something crazy just to kind of satisfy my soul. And ultimately, for me, it would be the coolest if I could just kind of really make everything totally different and just, dig into my creativity a little more and just really experiment with some different styles and some different things and see where that stuff might go. Because it's cool to take a product like a dragon and dial it in and make it over and over, because you like, the ones now aren't anywhere near what they were, a year or 2 years ago. They're so much tighter, they're so much cleaner, and it really takes massive repetition on a piece to dial it in to the point where it's so clean and so tight that you're like, oh, I'm really proud of this. This is awesome, and it took a lot of work to get it to there. And it really doesn't happen on the first couple you make. It takes making a bunch, and then they keep evolving, and eventually, for me, I'm really picky about what I make, and I don't really like much of the stuff I make because I have a pretty strict idea of what I want stuff to turn out like, and when it doesn't turn out exactly how I want it to, I'm like usually kind of bummed on it. But now it's like, finally I'm with the dragon at a point with the dragons where I'm like actually kind of happy with them, and it's like, this is the first time I've really made anything on a level where it's been at a caliber, where I'm like satisfied with it. And I've made a couple kind of abstract funky pieces that I like too, but it's it's been a style that I haven't had as much time to dial in and like really perfect. Right. And if I had a little more time, to maybe like lay off of the dragons and all these other orders and stuff. It's like I got a lot of bills and stuff, so I get stuck in my work hustle. But say I just had like some other income coming in, you know what I mean? I'd probably just make a bunch of really crazy shit, and it'd be like totally different and weird. It'd be, just this more abstract style that I want to pursue and kind of explore. But I feel like it's like right now when I do it, it's like a piece for me here and there, and it doesn't come out with that same tightness that a dragon might have, because I haven't made 100 in a row or something, Yeah. But and it's not that I would need to make them all the same, like they would be different, but it's just practicing that style. You get better at that style and the way that you can make it all flow, and just like anything,
Yeah. Do you find that, because like I know myself personally, like I've been over the years tried to like dedicate one day just to fuck off and play, and it's not. We talk about time management and how it's kind of a bullshit, magical thing out there. So it's never really worked for me to have this consistent quote-unquote schedule where every Wednesday I can spend all day just fucking off. But do you think that, say, like even once a month, if you're able to take the time, put everything behind you, even if you had orders pending, and just forget about them and just spend that day doing your stuff, and then you can stockpile those pieces, not even put them on Instagram or anything, like just stockpile them, and then have a show to reveal your new line, like a new launch for a new product line that you're doing.
That's something I've been thinking about. Like, here's a piece I made with Emily Marie, and it's actually it's kind of like that similar style. Let's see if I can get the angles right. It's kind of just a funky, weird style. We took all her protozoas, and I like went back to this old school kind of sculptural style I used to do with just like swoopy vines and orbs and stuff, and thought it would go cool with her style. And I like this piece a lot. To me, it's really interesting. It's really cool. Let's see.
Yeah, it reminds me of like the old. I forget who it was that was. Maybe was it you that? No, it wasn't you. They were doing like the dangles or some shit. They were calling them.
Oh, that was Mr. Gray way back.
Mr. Gray. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but like me and Mr. Gray have always kind of like I've seen like way back in the day on Glass Pipes. We were both kind of making some weird, kind of abstract style stuff like that, and he was doing the danglers where they were always a little bit more like the same kind of thing, but you could switch the colors and stuff, and they'd flow a little different. But I was always kind of like just like I would just make like, as I was telling you, I was doing all those weird art sculptures where it was just like flowing weird like alien plants forms and stuff like that. And so this style kind of evolved from that. You know what I mean? It's like making one of these weird abstract art pieces that you can functions too. So trying to find. That's the other thing is you get this idea in your head, of like some crazy abstract funky thing and it looks really cool or whatever, and then you gotta like try to find a way to like make it function without compromising your design too much.
Yeah, totally, dude. Do you do like any kind of sketches or draw at all before you get started?
Yeah, like if it's something I haven't made before, I definitely do a drawing. And like one thing that's like a huge help, Mickelson actually showed me this. I worked with Robert Mickelson for like a week. He came and stayed at my house and we made a couple pretty cool pieces. And anyways, he has a way that he makes his pieces, and it's like such a no-brainer. I don't know why I'd never thought of it before, but when he did it, I was just like, oh yeah, that's what's up. And so what he does is he'll have an idea for a piece. Like we made a dragon, so it's like a big rifle, and it has a dragon's head at the end of the barrel. It's like spitting a big fireball, and then it has all these like dragon-esque features throughout the gun. Like it has wings on the side of it, and it has dragon arms that are like the tripod or whatever. And it has like the butt of the gun is like the dragon's tail and all this. So it's like a rifle. It's like a rifle that's turned into a dragon kind of. And we called it the Dragon or whatever. But anyways, it was a big piece, and what we did is we drew it to scale. You don't just draw a little sketch of it. You actually draw it to the exact size you want to make.
Yeah, like a blueprint. Yeah.
Yeah, and then as you make it, you make all your pieces, right? And you just hold them up to your drawing, so you have proportion and size and everything. You can be like, oh, this, the barrel's too long or whatever. You hold it up to your drawing and it's a little too long. You cut a little off or whatever. So it's like one of the hardest things about making a sculptural piece is getting all your proportions right. And when you have a drawing to scale like that, it kind of takes care of that for you.
Yeah, it makes total sense, man.
Time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a little more time in the prep, you know what I mean? Just having to make all your parts perfect and make them all the right size. But then when it's all done, it all fits together how you want it to, and you don't have to struggle with it or, trying to change it once you put a piece onto something, you know what I mean? And it's too big then, and it's like a problem. You're trying to chop a chunk of, it doesn't work. So you want to have it all prepped out as good as you can, everything's perfectly shaped and to scale and everything. And then it works way better. But, when you make a thing over and over, like I've made these dragons so many times, I don't have to draw those anymore. I just basically, because they all kind of have the same flow and the same form, I mostly change the coloring and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Or, whether one has an open mouth or two hands down or one hand holding a marble or the different style wings, like those change in other ways. And I've thought about doing different stances, but you're really limited with the function because, it has to function, and so the angles have to stay a certain way. You can't make them lay down. You know what I mean? He has to be his head has to be up. Like there's little things that you have to stick to, otherwise the function won't work right. So I try to look at ways to maybe make a different stance, and you could change little things like his head could turn to the side, or his tail could swoop around one way or another, or something like that. But the overall flow of it needs to stay the same, or you're going to lose the function.
Yeah, totally. And I know myself personally. That's why I'm more function over form for sure. But I definitely, over the years, learning more sculpture and doing my thing, have definitely been about the combination of the two. Like I sent you that video, that dragon I've been doing, and it's like I knew how it was going to function, but I wasn't sure, like, because it's a hydra. So I'm like, okay, where am I going to put the mouthpiece at to make sure that this thing is comfortable and not going to spill water out and not going to get water in your mouth and actually perk and function properly. And so, like, it's definitely tricky to go through that process, especially when the shit's hot.
Yeah, and sometimes you might dump a ton of work into a piece too, and then get it done and be like, oh, it sucks water up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a straw. It's a giant straw.
Yeah, it's a giant straw.
Yeah, I've had plenty of those. Yeah, fucking A.
And especially with like the recycler game is so hot right now. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Trying to come up with a new recycler, you're definitely gonna make yourself some weird curly straw.
Yeah.
Doesn't work.
Yeah, dude. I probably made like 4 recyclers in my whole career, and like I just made like my first Klein the other day, just to go through the process of doing a Klein because I just wanted to try it, And it it's got a small crack in it, but it functions, and so now that's my personal piece, But I want to get that shit down. But then like thinking of the function of how these things work, it's like, okay, now I want to like you're saying, like with the dragons, like I have a small little dragon rig that I do, and I was trying to think of a way to have the tail come down to the bottom of the can, have the dragon sit on top, so the tail is actually part of the recycler part of the process,
Yeah.
And it kind of worked, sort of. I did it more of like a giveaway piece in the end, but it's definitely something I'd like to revisit. But then, like, when you come up with those things and you have all these orders pending, it takes like 10 years to go back and revisit that shit, which sucks because at the moment of the creation is like when that energy is there and you want to just go back and do 5 more of them while they're still fresh,
Yeah. I have a hard time like working on a piece over a long period of time. I like to just like really get after it and finish it. Some of these pieces are a lot of work and they'll still take me a week or something, but I have a hard time like working on stuff in between. I just get kind of focused and want to just get it done.
Yeah, yeah. I used to be that way, and then I got into more like production shit where I was doing like 4 bubblers at a time. I have all my shit prepped out in cans and things all lined up. And then I've gotten back into the one at a time thing. And it took me like this mental transition of getting out, because like our generation grew up on doing production. Like we had to do production to be able to make a living.
Yeah.
Or now we can make one piece and make a living. In a sense.
Dude, there's kids now that are making like more money than me, and they don't even know how to make a production pipe.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just going like, what's going on?
Yeah, man, and that's one of the things I always laugh about on here is like how many kids out there can make a badass Klein that they're selling for $5,000, but they can't push.
They can't make a spoon.
Yeah, they can't push a fucking bowl. And if they push a bowl, the hole's too big or the line's off, the carb's gonna burn your fucking hand or some shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it's like they're very limited to like, you know what I mean? It's like they can coil pot color and make a tube or something. You know what I mean? And it's like that, and that's good enough, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
But whatever, it's cool. It's just the industry is very young and it's very uneducated. The collectors don't really know what goes into these pieces. The collectors don't know how long it takes to make some of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said before about those Mickelson pieces, it's not always about how hard it is to make something. It's just about how it turns out when it's done. Is it tight? Does it look good? Is it cool? Do you like it? So
yep.
There's a lot of cool pieces that aren't that hard to make. They're just a good idea, or they just got good, good flow, good balance, whatever it is.
Yeah, I think Elbow's dynos are a good example of like when he first started coming out with those. Like they're such a simple form.
Yeah.
But they function well, and they were at first they weren't that much, and then they couldn't keep up the demand, so then the price went up on them, and and I think with your dragons, like you're saying, like they're taking you longer to make them, and you're still charging the same number. You need to raise your fucking prices, dude.
I've raised them a tiny bit, you know what I mean? But it's like you can only raise them as you can only charge what people are willing to pay, and it's hard to like convince all these new buyers that these new dragons are so much tighter, and it's like I can see it, and I think they can see it too, but.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times it's just like, there's a lot of other dragons out there. They could go to a shop. There's a few shops that have them for sale or whatever, and they feel like they get a better deal there or something. And so it's like, that's fine. I don't care. That's cool. Like I want them to buy my pieces from shops, and the shops buy more from me.
Yeah, exactly.
But at the same time, it's like when they're coming at me and I'm like, well, these new ones are way tighter. That's why they cost a little more or whatever. And they're like, well, I can get a better deal from so-and-so or so-and-so. I'm like, well, cool, go buy it. This is not the same dragon. These dragons are way, way tighter. But it is what it is, and I feel like the dragons have been really good to me, and I'm gonna keep doing them. But I definitely am at the point where I do want to start digging into some other style, and kind of like this weird abstract flowy style that I see in my head all the time is really kind of where my heart's at. So eventually I want to, I'm gonna make more of those, and maybe like you were saying, maybe I'll take like a little free time here and there, and I'll be able to make one here and there, and then stockpile a few of them and maybe have a little show where I can be like, yo, check out this new steez I've been doing,
Yeah, man, because I think I think in terms of like I do a lot of listen to a lot of business podcasts and marketing and building up like a hype. Like for instance, there was a interview I heard the other day, and it was all about how word of mouth is still like the number one marketing idea, like whether it's good or bad press. And there's a hot dog joint, I think it's in Chicago somewhere, they were saying they specialize. They have like every fucking type of bun, cheese, everything you could think of for hot dogs in the world. But in the back right corner of this restaurant, there's a fucking old school phone booth, like a red phone booth. And you go in this phone booth, you pick up the phone, a guy answers on the other end and says, "Do you have a reservation?" That's all they say to you. And if you have a reservation, you give them their name, they push some fucking button, and all of a sudden a door opens up inside the phone booth, and you walk into this secret bar that's behind this place. There's no writing, there's no marking, you would have no idea that this was even in there. And the only way to get in there is from somebody telling you about it, and then you finding out how to get a hold of whoever to make the reservation, kind of deal. And it seems like to create almost like because if someone tells you a secret, the first thing you want to go do is tell somebody, some compelling story.
And then when you go there, you feel like you're special. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Oh, I know about this secret spot.
Yeah, like the secret cups and secret sessions going on. But like if as artists, if we start thinking of that mentality of like not creating a hype, but like creating people that are like they're starting to talk about you because this is this quote unquote secret of what's going on. I think it's a whole different dynamic in terms of marketing for our work. Because we can promote our shit on Instagram every fucking 3 hours if we want, but it doesn't always do anything for us.
Yeah, no, it's not a direct relationship. Like if you have more followers, you make more money. It doesn't work like that.
I know, and all these bullshit companies out there, like, pay for clicks, blah 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 blah. It's like, yeah, no thanks.
Yeah.
No thanks. So, yeah, man. So I want to kind of get into the talk too about the management type of things, because I know, like, I was asking, about your wife being your quote unquote manager, and not liking to call her the manager in a sense, but I think personally, like I was saying before, if you've been in this for like 5+ years, that it gets to a point where you need to have an assistant. Just if you're at a point successfully wise where you just need to be behind the torch, and so I guess in your process, like, does she just do like emails and contacts, like, type of stuff? Like, how do you guys go about doing things, like working that dynamic of being a husband and wife also?
Well, we're like trying to figure that out. It's kind of new, so I've been doing everything forever, and now I'm just trying to get her like trained up to do some stuff. She's getting pretty good at pictures, like, so she's been doing all the photography. I bought her a pretty sweet camera, and then she is learning Photoshop, so her edits are getting better. She does my shipping, so she'll do packaging and shipping. As far as like messaging and marketing and all that goes, I still handle all that. I still do all the Instagram stuff, and I still have to answer all the messages and all that. It gets to be kind of a lot, and sometimes I'll like look at my Instagram and I'll be like, yeah, you have 30 message requests, or all these different, and it's like, I don't have time for that. It's like I'm trying to work today. And it's like, I want to answer them all, but it's hard. And I eventually want to get her doing that stuff. But right now it seems like any of those questions that, she'll get a question on there and she'll just have to come ask me anyways. Like, will you make a dragon like this, or, how much for this, or whatever the question is, it always has to come back to me anyway. So it just seems like I might as well do that unless I can get her to the point where she knows the answers to all those questions.
Yeah. Do you have like a formula or recipe for your dragons, for instance? Like, I'm sure like if you made one and just clear what goes into the process of making it, then you start adding, because like, for instance, for my wise guys that I do, I know like the basic foundation for a production piece, like what it costs, how much it takes, time, blah blah blah. And so we started developing a website last year. It was Build Your Own Wise Guy, where you can literally go on there and create your own rig and just pick out the color of the wings, all this other stuff. And then we were charging upcharging for like opals or crushed opals or dichro, or all those different kind of things. And like, I think it gets to a point to where as a business you can almost set certain price points in like a recipe sense, for if you want to go like to a restaurant and build your own cheeseburger, they're gonna charge you for the tomatoes and lettuce and all that shit, you know what I mean? So like, having that kind of set for yourself so she can have like a reference guide to go to understand.
I kind of have that going on a little bit, but there's always just like weird questions too. You know what I mean? There's all kinds of weird stuff that she always has to just come to me to ask me, or whatever it is. But that could help for sure, having like some kind of price sheet that she can refer to. The part of it too is it's like changes a lot. You know what I mean? Like my prices change a little bit here and there, and like there's all these special requests for things that are just like extra next level that wouldn't even be on the list. You know what I mean? Like they want crushed opal, and then they want UV on top of crushed opal.
Right.
It's like, you know what I mean? Some extra sauce. And it's like, I actually just did an order like that where it's just like so much prep involved, like it's crazy, but they come out cool. Like I got this dragon right here, and he's like all crushed opal on black, and he's covered in blue V. And then he's got purple accents that are all covered in Lucy. So like all the purple accents glow pink, and the dragon's all black with crushed opal, and he glows blue. It's pretty tight, but it was a lot of work. Yeah. And I don't think I charged enough for it. You know what I mean? It's like, fuck.
Yeah, I know, man. It's always one of those things you get into it and you're like, fuck. And honestly, I've gotten to points, brother, where I've gotten to a point where I've stopped being afraid to like go to a customer and be like, hey, this is where we're at right now, and just so you know, this is what it's going to cost. Because like I've done it before. I've been like, dude, this is going to cost like maybe $500-$600 more, and they've been cool with it. Like I haven't had any recourse from it. And I find like just to be able to communicate with our customers and be honest with them and let them know, like, here's the reality of this shit. We came into this at this point. Here's where we are now. I've only gotten this far. I got so many hours into it. Blah blah blah. This has to go up in price a little bit.
I mean, that's cool. I feel like my problem is like we were talking about earlier, is like being able to say no. I have a hard time saying no to people, and like I'm always like, I already feel so blessed. Like I guess that's what it gets down to. I feel so blessed and so lucky just to make a living like this, that if I get an order and someone's actually willing to spend like thousands of dollars on something I make,
Yeah.
I'm so like stoked on that already that I'm just like, yeah, let's do this. You know what I mean? And then I might agree to be like doing something where it's more work than I think it's going to be or whatever. And I end up just kind of like, oh, a week later, I'm still making prep for this piece,
Yeah, exactly.
But at the same time, it's like it's hard to bitch because, like I was saying, I feel blessed just to be here, and I feel I'm stoked that people are even willing to like buy stuff I make for enough money to where I can support me and my family.
Yeah, man. No, I totally understand, brother. Because I'm in the same boat. Like it's definitely a blessing to be able to get up and just know that I'm gonna be going and creating some artwork. It's work, but I'm going to create some art and have some fucking fun. It's like.
Mm-hmm.
There's not much out there like it, it's pretty badass. But
yeah, sometimes I'll take a fat dab in the morning and I'll fucking have my coffee and I'll jump on my torch and it's like that energy that I feel pumping through me, like it's just that's like some of the best. That's like one of the best feelings that I ever get like on a regular basis is when I just like get that and I feel good and I'm just grooving on my torch and it's like after a long day or whatever you're over it and you want to be done, but there's like that moment when you're just feeling good and you're just grooving and it's tight. I love glass.
Yeah, man, there's something about getting in that zone where everything around you just goes away. You get like 6 hours later, you come back and you're like, whoa, where the fuck am I at?
Yeah, it's fucking time warp.
Right?
It is some crazy time warp.
Especially when I had my studio in my garage at night and I would have just my torch and my fan shroud in front of me and just my music in my ears.
Yeah, and it's
like,
weird
you
too.
Get lost.
Yeah, you feel like you're in like tunnel vision or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're so focused in on your torch and just right in front of you. It's like you don't even notice what's going on around you. Like my wife will come in the shop and be like talking to my shopmate or something. And then like I'll come inside an hour later and she'll be like, some question that she had asked me out there and I won't even recall it. I'll be like, what are you talking about? I don't even recall that you were out there. Like I was so in some weird zone, but yet I somehow answered a question and don't remember. It's crazy.
Yeah, dude, I've been there, done that many times.
Yeah.
I let everybody know too, like when I was out here in the garage focused, I'm like, if you come out here and talk to me and you scare me, I'm gonna get pissed, kind of thing. So just come out here and
it's hell easy to creep up on a glass door for
it is,
sure.
Dude.
We always had our music pumping and the torch hissing and
yeah, man.
You can't hear it's like the fan in front of you humming.
Yeah, especially if you got earbuds in or some shit, it's like,
oh yeah,
man. It's like stand there and I'll recognize that you're here, and then we can have the conversation. And even still, then it's like, oh shit, you fucking got a ghost in your studio or something.
Yeah.
But on that whole point of the no thing, something I've heard several times. This dude Derek Sivers quote he has is, "If it's not a fuck yeah, it's a no." And
that's a good one.
Yeah, dude. And he was talking about it like there were so many times like as he got his business going and he was starting off as a musician and he had friends that were musicians and they had a gig and the guy was getting like $75 to go play bass at like a local county fair and he didn't want to do it. So he asked Derek if you want to do it and Derek's like, fuck yeah, let's do it. Which then that led to the next gig, which was like only like $75. He's like, yeah, dude, let's fucking do it because he's getting paid to play his bass. It's only $75, but he's getting he's like after my bus ride and the fees, I didn't make any money, but
if you're doing something that you want to do anyways and you're making money, then that's that's pretty good. That's kind of like I was saying, you're feeding your soul and your wallet, and that's a hard thing to do. Most people have to choose one or the other. And we all want both, but you gotta pick one or the other. And I think usually if you choose your soul, you're gonna be happier because a lot of people are just doing something that they don't like every day just to make that money, and that sucks. The end result of that is just depression. You know what I mean? You grind away at some job that you hate, no matter how much money you make. If you have to do something you don't like every day, all day, what the fuck is that? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's not worth any amount of money. So, really, to be happy, it's not always about money and shit. Money helps, but you really gotta be doing something that you feel good about, something you're passionate about. And then usually if you follow your passion, the money follows that anyways,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I totally agree.
If you're doing it right,
Yeah, I think that was coming from Degenerate Art, like one of the things, my biggest takeaway was Snodgrass saying that, the whole money follows passion kind of concept. And it's like, it's so true in our industry, it's like, if you're just passionate about it and you show that you're passionate about it by going to a shop and just being super fucking excited about your work, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, totally. And it's cool. Like, it's cool. I'm stoked that this is all blowing up like this, man. Like I said, it was for so many years. I was just kind of like, is this going to work? And now I still kind of wonder. It's not like I got tons of orders just lined up, but I seem to get by. So
Yeah, I hear you. So what was the whole inspiration for your new skulls you're doing? Well, I guess they're not new, but I've been seeing you doing them a lot more lately.
the little
Oh,
skulls.
Yeah, I'm losing you a little bit. I think your Wi-Fi is going off.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I just died real quick. I'm trying to grab a little firewood.
Yeah, you're good.
I'll be back in a second here.
Yeah. I don't do much editing, so like if those listening to it, he's outside right now in the snow. You can hear him crunching around and walking around, getting some firewood.
Cool. Well, yeah. So the skulls. I mean, the skulls have always kind of been a thing that I've already been known for, especially if you followed my work for more than a few years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you've seen all my old pieces where I used to make big hollow skulls. I had a series of pieces that were like hollow skulls that were all part of the function, you know, like a big hollow skull with a sword through it, and then a snake like coiled up around the handle.
Yeah.
It's like kind of like a tattoo, you know what I mean? It looks like an old sailor tattoo or some shit.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Or maybe a biker tattoo, I don't know, whatever, but it looks like that old tattoo style. And so I made a bunch of those back in the day, and those were always cool, and like I got pretty good at making skulls, so I really liked the sculpting on it. It's like it's a challenging thing to make. And then I had a few pieces that were like phoenixes, like these big flaming phoenix birds, and then like big wings of fire. They'd be like cradling skulls like that. Or so I had some history with skulls already. And then I just kind of like came up with that little dabber one day, and it came out cool. And I was like, I kind of like this product. Like, I think this could be a thing. You know what I mean? I'm like, it's kind of like I was saying with the dragons. Like, you just make something one day, and you really like the way it turns out. And so you're just like, I'm gonna roll with this, you know, see how this does. And it's been going pretty good so far. I mean, I like the product. I feel like when it's done, you know, and I got a little handful of them in my hand, I look down, I'm like, yeah, these are sick, you know. And that's why I keep making them, I guess.
Yeah, man, they're cool. I definitely dig them.
But you know, there's like, it's cool because you can experiment with all these different colors. Like, you could take, you know, it's not like everyone is just a basic color. Like we're experimenting with like all these different ways to stack colors together or whatever, or different ways to like mixing up custom colors or doing colors over colors, all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of a fun thing to make, just to play with colors, because there's all these new colors that come out, and it's like, you know, there's all these, and it's cool to play with all the different colors and see what they all do and everything. So it's like,
yeah,
it's a cool experiment for testing out colors. You know, you get to make a little something out of it. See how it looks. And
is it one of those kind of items that if it broke on you, that you could like recycle it in a sense?
I don't know. I don't really do that.
No.
I have a lot of waste.
Do you?
I just feel like once something cracks or breaks or something, it's like the glass is never the same again. Even when you melt it back together and you start fucking with it, it like doesn't move right. You might be able to get rid of that line or get the crack out of it, but the glass remembers it. It remembers that it was once there, and then like later you're trying to shape it or something, and there's like a little fucking weird knuckle in the glass right there, a little weird spot that doesn't want to flow right.
Isn't it so weird, dude, that glass has a fucking memory?
Yeah, it remembers everything. Like, you can look at pieces. It's so weird. You can look at a piece and you can sit there and see every little, you know, the whole process of how it was made, because it shows everything. It's even the stripes on it, like, you know, like the way that you color your piece, if you're coil potting your color, or if you're striping it onto a tube or whatever. It's like, if you look really close, you can see all that shit, all the little memory lines of everything, all the little weld lines. And
yeah, exactly.
I've had people message me a picture of like a dragon, and there's like a little clear line on the weld, and they're like, "What's up with this? Is this cracked or something?" I'm like, "No, that's the clear glass, like in between the seams. Like, crushed opal has a heavy layer of clear on it. You know what I mean? And so like when you stick two pieces together, you're not sticking black to black. You're really sticking clear to clear, because they both have a nice heavy layer of clear on top of them. Yeah. So you're going to see a little clear line in between everywhere there's a weld, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
All that clear. And like, people don't understand how stuff's made. And so, you know, a lot of times it's just how it is. If you're a glassblower, you can look at it and see how it was made and you get it. But otherwise, like some of these people are like, they get a piece, they pay all this money for it, and they see a little clear seam or something, they think it's a crack or something, you know?
Yeah, I've gotten a lot of pictures like that. Like, what's up with this? I'm like, oh, dude, it's just fucking glass. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Nothing I can do about it.
Yeah, that's just what it is.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's one of the good things with the trade shows right now, that with the live demonstrations going on, to really give the clients out there, the shop owners and, you know, whatever.
Yeah, no matter how good your weld is, no matter how good your weld is, there's still going to be a line there. You know what I mean? It's just how the glass works.
Yeah, exactly. Well, speaking of trade shows, man, do you ever do the trade shows?
Yeah, I do them here and there. I don't do a lot of them. I'm kind of a hermit. You know, I have like everything I need here at my house, and I just like being a homebody and just doing my thing. But I do get out to some trade shows here and there. A couple months ago, I was in Miami for the big Galleria. I went out to that one because they invited me. It's kind of hard to turn down a free trip to Miami.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So I did that one. I don't know. I was in the DFO this last DFO they invited me to do that too. So I couldn't really say no to that. That's kind of an honor. But you know, like I said, I'm kind of a hermit. I don't really get out too much.
Yeah, I think most of us are. Like we're all like.
I think that's kind of part of the trick, right? How are you gonna get really good at something if you're not at home doing it all the time?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but then watch out, man. You get us all together at the trade shows, it turns into fucking chaos. It's a big ass.
It's fun, man. I was just like seeing everybody again. It's like, you know, just tons of good energy, tons of good vibes.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So one other thing I wanted to ask you too about the skulls. I noticed when you do your videos, like for your auctions and stuff, you wear black gloves, and I've kind of seen that trend kind of going along. Is there a specific reason you do it? Is it more of like just a black background for the piece, so you don't want to get your fingerprints on it? Like, what's your reason?
Oh, the gloves?
Yeah, for the black gloves.
I bite my fingernails hella bad, and I just got some like gnarled up fingers.
That's awesome, dude. Fuck yeah.
So like, and also honestly, like a lot of times the black complements the glass.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the transparent colors. You know what I mean? It gives it that black background. So especially if it's a fumey one, if it's got fume in it, the black will set the fume off, which is tight. You know what I mean? And also, it just looks clean. You know, I guess 90% of it is that people just don't want to look at my gross hand. You know?
Well, I like the honest answer and the other one too, because I assumed it was for the black background. You know, like you're saying. So, because I see a lot of people doing it. Because I know too about getting like oil in your fingerprints on the glass and that kind of shit. Even though it all comes off, but you know.
Yeah, but in the picture, the fingerprints are there. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You're spinning it around, and the oil from your fingers is shining off the glass and stuff like that. Little fingerprints and stuff. It just looks a little cleaner with the glove.
Yeah, I completely agree. Absolutely, man. So have you got a chance to like get involved in any like product development with any of the color companies at all? Like get your hands on new shit?
No, not really. Like that's kind of one of my problems. Really, is like I see all these new hypey colors getting out there that everybody's fucking all going nuts for, and I can't get any of that shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I don't know what you got to do. What kind of what club you got to be a part of or something. Maybe I'm not cool enough. I don't know. Maybe I'm not harassing people enough. I don't know what it is. I've tried. I hit up Alchemy. I mean, mostly they're the hype. You know what I mean? And I hit them up, and I can't get any of that. I've never had one stick of serum. It's like.
Right. I know. It's crazy. I know somebody in particular that has a shit ton of it right now that they've been just kind of just holding on to. But you know, I think I've talked about this in past episodes. Like, I think part of the issue is like the trade shows. You know, like Last Alchemy will have a big release of something. You know, new batches of shit at a trade show, and then it's all gone. Or they'll have like half at the trade show and half in stock at the warehouse. And then like those that are in line at the trade show that are buying it are also on their phone buying it online at the same time. So they're like double dipping. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though it's like limited, you know, to how many.
And man,
you can get.
These people don't even blow glass. They're
right. Exactly.
Like, oh, I'm gonna buy all the serum. It's like fuck, man.
Yeah. And it's interesting, and I think that's part of the interesting dichotomy with this industry is those that are the collectors that are educated in our work that we do. They're educated in the materials, and they'll go spend fucking $5,000 on stock. And then they just go to their favorite artist and say, "Hey, I got this colors, blah blah blah. You think you can make this for me?" You know, kind of thing.
I know. I wish they wouldn't. You know,
I agree.
They would leave a little color for me.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. It's.
I wish that there was some kind of like I wish there was some kind of like the longer you'd been in this game, like you got some kind of special hookup.
Yeah, seniority or something.
Exactly. That's the word I'm looking for. Some kind of seniority.
Yeah, we do some kind of like fucking Diners Club card or some shit.
Yeah, and it's it's not like I'm the oldest glass blower out there, but fuck.
Yeah,
I feel like I should get some. Feel like I deserve some serum.
Right. I know. I got like a small little tiny nib in my box I've been holding on to. Like I got some old ass OG moss from like 10 years ago that I haven't touched. You know, I got a couple sparkle colors I've been holding on to, but it's like I don't know if you remember back in the day when we had the Draconis colors that were out. You know, like I would love to have that shit back now. Like imagine your dragons with the Draconis stuff, dude. Like it'd be fucking
that satin.
Bang. Oh, dude, that shit was so fucking
the white
sweet.
Draconis was so crazy. It looks like shampoo or something.
Yeah, exactly.
I kind of fucked up way back when, and I just like bought massive quantities of like all these shitty colors because that's like all there was back. You know, there wasn't a lot of the good colors have just been reformulated so much that now they're good. 10 years ago, a lot of these same colors sucked. And a lot of the best colors didn't exist. They just weren't even out yet. And so, you know, I was just getting what I could and get what was good at the time. But what was good at the time then isn't close to what's good at the time now. And so I have this like massive stockpile of all this crappy old color I can't really do anything with.
Right. Yeah, like you get a whole batch of canary or like some kind of weird color and none of it matches. Like the whole batch is like from like 6 batches they just put together.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, it's interesting stuff for sure. Yeah, man. So, there was something else I wanted to ask you too. I don't remember what it was. Complete brain fart. I don't know.
It's all good.
I was in the shop till 3 a.m. Got home at like 4. So, I got like a half a brain cell running right now.
I know. I didn't realize how late it was for you when I called you. I didn't know you were 3 hours ahead on me.
Yeah, but it's all good. Yeah, it actually worked out because like usually one day a week I get a late night in the studio, and I shouldn't do it because I know always the next day my next day sucks because I'm tired, my brain doesn't work properly.
Yeah.
You know, I got to get in bed by 10 o'clock to have a good day the next day.
Yeah, dude, I in the same way. I crash out super early like every night. I'm always up early and out early. That's just how I do it. I'm a morning person, so
yeah,
I always feel the best in the morning.
Yeah, same here, man, for sure. You have kids at all?
No, I got a couple hound dogs.
Yeah, we heard them.
And those, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean that's the closest thing I got to kids. But I love them like they're my kids, man.
Yeah, I know what you mean, man. We got our fur babies.
Dog person.
Yeah, they're killer. How old are they?
Musket they're both hound dogs. One's 7 and one's 6.
Cool. Hell yeah, you take them out in the woods and go hiking.
Yeah, they're sweethearts. Yeah, if you look up here, my backyard. That's Tiger Mountain. So like,
wow.
There's one house behind me, and then after that house, it's just like miles and miles of forest and mountains and shit. And I take them out there. I got some trails that go all through out there, and I take them out there and rally around.
Hell yeah. Yeah, man, you got to do that.
It's scary though because it's kind of scary because they're hounds, and so they will track stuff. They'll like catch an animal scent and be off, you know. And like, my one guy, he's a little bit more wild, a little more like instinctual drive than the other guy, and he freaking was gone for like 4 days a couple months ago. Wow. He went out. Yeah, he went back to arrows chasing something, and we usually don't let them off out there without their leashes or whatever. But he just like went crazy and jumped over the fence. And he was gone for 4 days, and I spent the entire time looking for him. I was like so exhausted. I actually got really sick by the time I found him. And as like I just pushed my body to the absolute limit, and I was just like, only thing, it was like, once I found Ned, then it was like my body was okay. Now you can just rest and be sick. Like,
yeah, that's what you mean.
So it was so stressful, man. I spent the whole time. I must have hiked like 100 miles out there, and I put up like flyers everywhere. He ended up going viral. Like it was posted all over Facebook, like hiking groups and all over IG. Like everybody was reposting it. Like it totally went viral. Like Ned's like famous now. It's pretty funny.
Hell yeah, he needs his own Instagram page.
Yeah, but we eventually found him, man, and that was like one of the happiest moments of my life. It's like it's such a horrible thing when you lose your dog, but when you find him, it's awesome.
Yeah, so. I know what you mean. I had a lab for a long time, and he would get that. He'd get the scent going, and all of a sudden, like, and he wasn't fixed either, so it was kind of an issue we had with him. Like, he wasn't, going looking for the ladies at all, but he was like on the hunt always, nose down to the fucking ground, dude. They get that scent going, and it's like, next thing you know, he's out in traffic or some shit because he's like still tracking some scent, not paying attention to what's going on around him. He used to scare the hell out of me.
I know, man.
Fuck. So did he come home or you had to go find his ass?
So we were out looking for him for like 4 days, and then like on the third day, somebody contacted me and they said they saw him, and like I met up with this guy and we went and looked in the woods where they had seen him last, and it was a few miles from my house in the woods, and like. On the first day, he was actually spotted like 15 miles from my house on the whole other side of this mountain. I have a mountain that's in my backyard, and he made it all the way across the other side of the fucking mountain. And like to the main road out there is where he was spotted. And then like a couple days went by with no sightings, and then he was sighted like, maybe halfway in between there and my house on like the third day. So I was like kind of hopeful, like maybe he was making his way back, And I went out there to go try to find him where he had been sighted, and we couldn't find him. But then my wife called me up, and I guess while I was out there looking for him, he had made his way back home, and he was just out on the street, like really close to my house.
Wow.
And she was actually driving home to get my other dog to take him out there to go track him, because my other dog can kind of sniff him out and track him. So we were gonna get Musket and take him out there, and then she just found him. So
Amazing.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Hell yeah, dude. Well, I think this is a good point for us to take a quick break here in transition to thank our sponsors, and then we'll come back and we'll get the Crashing the Killing round started.
All right, cool.
This segment's brought to you by Mountain Glass and Wise Guy Radio. As a big thank you to you, the listener, Mountain Glass is offering an exclusive sale for listeners, 35% off North Star for the entire month of December 2016. When you go to checkout, just put in the code WNS. That's WNS at checkout, and you'll receive 35% off North Star First Quality Rods. And for any other questions or concerns, just go to mountainglass.com. That's mountainglass.com. All right, we're back. Like I said, it's quick. the beauty of editing and stuff. So the Crash and the Killing round consists of 7 questions, and I got to stop and take like 5 minutes to count these fucking questions, because I think it's either 6 or 7. But either way,
okay.
They're short questions. If you want to give me like a 30 to 60 second answer on them, you can also expound upon the answers too, that everybody does. And the first question I always like to ask is if there is any living glass artist that you had not yet worked with, who is it and why?
I'd probably say Ghost, probably. I was going to say Banjo, but I don't know. I'm going to say Ghost.
Hell yeah.
I think our styles transcend a little better. Like, I feel like I have more to learn from him. Like, Banjo is just an amazing artist, and like you can see what the secret to his work is. It's just very clean and very precise, and it's broken down to like really small, intricate pieces. And Ghost, it's kind of like he's just a really good fucking sculptor. Like his shit is I just feel like I don't even know how to explain it. I just feel like I have more to learn from him.
Yeah,
There's a little bit more about the way he makes his. There's just like, I guess it's like the way he makes his stuff is a little bit more of a mystery to me. I'm not quite sure on his techniques and stuff. Whereas I kind of know how Banjo does his stuff, but it's just he just does it really, really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
All right.
Hell yeah. So what are your top 5 favorite colors in glass?
I'd say green stardust, purple lollipop. I mean, I can only name colors I can get. I like agua azul.
Mm-hmm.
Is really nice. I like grape. Maybe one more. I'd say blue stardust.
Okay. Is the green stardust and blue stardust being made still? Do you know?
Yeah, it is. The thing is with those colors is they are like a really amazing colors, and they're really friendly to work. But every once in a while, you get a bad batch that has like too much air in it, and you get all these air bubbles that like come up to the surface and make your piece all shitty. But like most of the time, it's pretty good. Like I've only ever had a couple bad batches, and I use a lot of those colors. Nice.
Hell yeah. What is your worst injury in the studio?
I'd say a couple. Actually, it was pretty recent. It was like 2 months ago. I was making this giant solid prep. I had coated this like 30 mil solid rod with like 2 layers of purple lollipop, and then like 2 heavy layers. Like this was just this massive solid prep. And I was just heating it like crazy, got it all super hot, like ready to pull it down. I was going to pull it from like 30 mil down to like 10, 12 mil. And I started pulling it, and I accidentally like fumbled it like a total idiot. It just kind of slipped out of my hand. And I went to catch it again, and I just grabbed it right on like the hot molten part.
Fuck.
And I completely burnt the inside of my whole palm, just like so bad. It was really, really gnarly. And that put me out for like a week and a half or so until I could even get back on the torch.
Yeah, man, we're gonna have to like move your hand.
And I know, like, and it was kind of like, yeah, I mean, I could, but it was like, it was pretty bad. It wasn't, terrible. I haven't really hurt myself super bad, but it was a really bad burn. And then like, it reminded me of like, I did the same thing like 15 years ago. I had taken these 2 big solid rods, like I don't know, 15, 20 mil rods, and I had welded them together. And then, like, within a moment, I forgot that I welded them together there, just being all stoned or whatever, and just grabbed it right on the spot where I welded it. And same thing, just burnt the whole inside of my palm.
Yeah, man.
And those were both pretty comparable. You know what I mean? They were both about the same.
Yeah, nothing worse than your hand sticking to hot glass.
Yeah, I mean, that sucked, you know, and I haven't really cut myself too bad, you know, just little ones here and there, nothing crazy.
Hell yeah. Yeah, my most common question I get at Disney is, you ever burn yourself? I get it like 20 times a day. I'm like, yeah, dude, I burn myself every day.
Yeah. I mean, I don't burn myself every day, but, you know, a little burn here and there for sure.
Yeah, little nicks and stuff. Yeah,
little cuts and burns.
Hell yeah. If you could describe the sound of glass cracking in one word, whether it's an emotional response or like a visceral response, what is it?
Fuck!
Perfect.
With like multiple U's.
Hell yeah. Do you have any glass-blowing themed tattoos?
No, I don't have any tattoos.
Nice. That's been the common answer lately.
I've always wanted to get a tattoo. I've always thought, ever since I was a little kid, I always thought I would have tattoos. I used to draw a lot. Like, I've always been into art, so I drew a lot. I sculpted a lot with clay and all that. And I've actually, like, almost gotten a tattoo a bunch of times. But I kind of always feel like in the back of my mind, like, I want to create my own tattoo. And so there's been a few times I've sat down and, like, drawn something up. But I've never been totally happy with what I draw up because it's, like, it's going to be on me forever. So I want it to be super tight. So it's like I'm kind of stuck there. It's like I want to do it. I want to create it myself, but I can't create one that's, like, good enough. So I just don't get one.
Yeah, man, I hear you. When you're in the studio, do you listen to TV, the radio, or do you do both?
So I listen to the radio mostly, or Pandora or YouTube or whatever. I'll put something on. I like all kinds of music. You know, I listen to a little bit of rap, but mostly I listen to like rock and metal and stuff. Like my favorite stuff is probably like Alice in Chains and Pearl Jam and Radiohead, that kind of stuff. I like Outkast and I like Kid Cudi and I like some more alternative forms of rap or hip hop. Usually stuff that has more of like, you know, more of like a positive vibe, positive message. It's not like the lyrics need to be all like super positive, but I'm not really into like the negative stuff, you know. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to feel good. Music's supposed to bring you up. It's supposed to make you feel good. It's supposed to, you know, charge you up and get you going. It's not supposed to make you all angry or hating on people.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. Get in that groove.
Yeah, man. It's all about feeling good.
Yeah, fuck yeah. When you do Pandora, do you do like the Pandora Prime thing, or do you just not pay for it and just do this commercial bullshit?
Yeah, I just do the commercial bullshit. But I mean, mostly I do a lot of just YouTube stuff, and I have my own little playlists and stuff that I put on too.
Cool.
And then we have, you know, we got a DVD player out there and a TV out there. I can't actually see the TV while I work, but I'll put up it's like on the wall to the side of me or whatever, so I can't really watch it while I work. But I'll just put a good comedy on there that I know really well. Mm-hmm. And so you don't really have to watch it. You just kind of know all the lines, but it's still funny. So like Napoleon Dynamite's one that we always play. Like that's one of our go-tos. The other one is Idiocracy. Like that's another go-to.
Oh yeah.
So it's just good to have that shit played in the background because I know both those movies so good. It's just, you know, it's still funny to me. I just laugh my ass off. Like,
yeah, exactly. You can kind of visualize it in your head while you're working.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, you know what's going on. And I mean, both those movies are just, they never get old for some reason. They're just hilarious.
Hell yeah. Yeah, Friday was like that for me for a while too.
Yeah, Friday's a good one.
Hell yeah,
Big Lebowski's a good one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's fun, man. 'Cause like I'll do like full marathons. Like I'll do like the Pirates of the Caribbean marathon, or do like a Harry Potter marathon, or you know get those movies that have long series and over like
it's easy
two
to
days.
Do. Yeah, it's easy to do because you're just sitting out there for so long on your torch. You know, you might as well just jam through them. Like I like Lord of the Rings a lot too, but it's like a little bit harder to like just listen along without one. You know?
Yeah. Not a lot of dialogue, a lot of walking.
Right. Yeah.
You have to listen to any podcasts at all while you're working?
No, I kind of feel like maybe I should get into that a little bit though. I kind of like some of the, you know, listening to some talking and stuff. It's kind of funny. You get into some good topics or whatever, and it can be entertaining for sure.
Yeah, man. I'll send you a couple shows to check out. If you like history and that kind of stuff, you know, there's a couple of them.
Yeah, plus I wouldn't mind checking out some of your older podcasts you've done.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Definitely.
Some of these other glass blowers, I'm kind of interested in what they got to say too.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. Be awesome. So the last question I always like to ask, and so I was still working this one out, so bear with me here. But if you were stranded on an island and had a glass studio on there, and the glass studio supplied your gases, your kiln, your torch, and now I've added the glasses to it because everybody forgets to say glasses. And you had to make something to survive on this island. And what 5 items would you bring? And
All right.
you can bring a pallet of glass. I mean, there's different things you can do, but yeah.
So are you looking for glass blowing tools or survival tools?
Whatever you need to make whatever.
I'm thinking like I need a water filter.
Right.
I need a lighter.
Yeah, whatever you need to. Just 'cause you got to make something to survive. So.
All right. So I got to make something to survive. So I'm gonna bring I guess so. You're looking for tools. I'm gonna bring tweezers, a paddle. I'm gonna bring a mini torch, a little hand torch, a reamer of some kind, like a graphite reamer, and obviously glass, right?
Yep. If you need it, you can always melt down some sand.
Silica extraction on the beach,
something like that. That's why I like that was kind of the premise for this question was like, because you can get like flint rocks if you need to make a fire or strike some shit. There's different ways like caveman style to be a glass blower, or to get things started. Like you can whittle down some tools for reamers or what have you.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Get your caveman tools on. That's a thing.
Yeah. Is that a chandelier above your head?
Yeah, that's a chandelier I made years and years ago. It is just sorry, I'm like getting a dab ready here.
Oh, you're cool.
But it was like when I was telling you I used to make those kind of just abstract art pieces, and I would sandblast and oil paint, and you get these color fades and stuff going.
Yeah.
Here, I'll show you. So it's just
nice.
It's hanging out of my skylight, so you can see all the light coming down through it or whatever. It has a light bulb inside of it too, but it's just these fades. You can get these cool color fades when you put oil paint on sandblasted glass. It's not a hard thing to do, but it has a cool look. There was a while back when I just kind of experimented with that for a while and had some fun with it.
Yeah, man. If you don't mind, after we get off, if you could take a picture of it for me, so I can, since this is an audio version and we're talking about things that aren't quite visual.
Oh,
that way I could,
gotcha.
Since we're talking about it, I think it'd be cool to share it. But yeah, man, it's with when I was first working down with Josh and Dave over at Zen, they were doing a lot of ornaments and different pieces, and they were doing that. They were sandblasting the glass and then oil painting and stuff, and it's such a cool idea and look.
Yeah, it's such an easy way to make something really cool looking, and it's like, especially for art pieces, because you don't want to do it on rigs and stuff because people have to clean them. People got to put rubbing alcohol through that shit. You know what I mean? It goes through a pretty aggressive cleaning process to get your oil or your resin out of your pipe.
Yeah, exactly.
And so you can't get away with putting paint on your shit. But for an art piece, it's awesome,
Yeah, exactly. So, you want to take your dab before I ask you the next question?
Yeah, sure.
Since your shit's hot right now.
So on the podcast, people can't see it. They don't get to see this stuff. They just hear it.
It's full audio. Yeah. Eventually, like the long-term goal with this is to be able to travel to studios. Like, say, I'd come out to your shop, we'd do a little collab, and then we could do the audio version. But also, I want to do because I have a YouTube channel, which I haven't really done anything with yet. But I want to be able to do like video too, and then then also have you do like a tech or like a little quick lesson and do a video with that. Like a full,
for sure,
a full encompassing kind of thing.
That'd be tight.
And plus, it give me a chance to travel and meet everybody in person.
Yeah, man. You're real easy to talk to, man. You're a cool dude.
Thanks, brother. Likewise.
Been looking at your stuff online, and I feel like we kind of been homies on there for a long time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's why.
A long time we've been liking each other's pictures for a long time.
I've been tugging on your dick for a long time, dude.
I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, metaphorically, I guess, in a sense.
Tugging on my metaphorical dick.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I definitely dig your work, brother. It's been like I said last night, definitely have inspired my work just in terms of like flow and shape and form and aesthetics. Like I'm all about aesthetic, and you have an awesome aesthetic with your work.
I appreciate that, man. It's like it's just such a. I feel really the longer that I go on in this industry, the more humbled I feel. There's so many good artists. There's so many fucking talented glassblowers. You start to realize that you're not special. You're just another dude out there making stuff, and we're all, it's either you're not special or we're all special. It's however you want to look at it.
Yeah, I think we're all special, man, when it comes down to it. Because, like, it's like, you know, I've like growing up and then going through college and shit, and like learning about like Eastern philosophy and like not having an ego, quote unquote, you know. But like,
Yeah.
we got to have a little bit of, you know.
Right. Well, it's good to have
and
ego as long as you realize that everyone else is also on some special shit. You know what I mean? It's like when you start separating yourself, like I mean, that's kind of what the word special means, I guess. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
To stand out and be above the rest or something. But like, that's, you know, that just not what it's about. It's about having, you know, real perspective. And so, like I said, like back when I might have had a kind of a big ego back in the day because there just wasn't a lot of glass blowers and I was young and dumb and I just hadn't matured.
Yeah.
You know, and you get people telling you, people don't know about glass blowing. They don't understand what it takes to make stuff. And they just see whatever, and it's glass. It's a beautiful medium, so it's easy to get compliments in this industry. Mm-hmm. It's easy to be a shitty glass blower and have a bunch of people that know nothing about glass tell you how great your glass is, and then you get a big head, and you're like, oh, I'm this cool glass blower guy. But, you know, the more time goes on, the more perspective you gain, you start to realize that, hey, man, like, we're all this cool glass blower guy.
Yep. Yeah, man. You know, that's funny. That's like
and we can all do it. You know, we all have that. We all have the ability to be fucking badass. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. Especially nowadays with the amount of classes going on and the foundations that are being developed, and then the apprenticeships, and you know, it's a lot of sharing, a lot of open source now. You know, but where before it's like, I'm not gonna tell you that shit. Your competition.
Yeah, it's a fucking weird. That's a weird thing for sure. I remember when I started, man, it was like people had weird curtains they'd put up and stuff. Yeah. Like they'd stop if you walked into their shop when they were blowing glass. They just stopped blowing glass. They wouldn't, you know, they wouldn't want to show you nothing. And now it's a lot more open. People share knowledge, and everybody gets way better, way faster like that. It's pretty crazy. Like I remember practicing bad technique for years, you know, and you just don't know any better. You're just making stuff as good as you know how. And if somebody would have just came along and been like, no, do it like this, it might have saved you like 5 years of just making fucked up shit.
She had 5 years of this industry right now, dude, is like 20.
And it's huge, dude. And so it's like we had to learn a lot of this stuff on our own. We had to figure out a lot of this stuff for ourselves. And we also created a lot of this stuff, you know. Mm-hmm. And the guys today, they get to come in and they have the advantage of getting to learn from us because we already went through all the hardships to figure it out.
Which is why we need to charge more for our shit.
And you know, it's hard. That's a hard one, man.
It is. It is, for sure. You know, I mean, but you know, you look at like different industries and the standouts, like Richard Branson's and the fucking Elon Musk's and like, you know, the Bill Gates, like all these big industries that the standouts, you know, that have changed the world in a sense, and different industries. And you know, there's a couple cats in our industry that. I mean, I consider you to be one of the names that I look up to in the industry. You know, like there's you and there's Salt. I mean, I can name fucking 50 people right now. It's also why I started doing this show twice a week because, like, if I did it one day a week for fucking a year, it's like I can just bring on 50 artists, you know, a year, and I want to bring on like 100 artists a year because you know there's so many out there. But like in terms of like a branding of yourself, you know, and I know you say like the Dragons have kind of like been like a catch-22 for yourself, but it's like, you know. Scoz Glass, that's your brand. I mean, you know, but it's also why I want to introduce you to on the show as your name, and then also here's your brand of Scoz Glass, you know, or Scoz. You know? So I think it's important that we're able to start to get to the point now in our industry where we can separate the two. We have us as a human being and as a creative person, then we have our brand over here, which is not always everything that we are. You know,
exactly. And you know, like there's probably a bunch of glass blowers, you know what I mean, that are like have their style or their thing they're known for, but they have like all these weird things in their shop that people would look at and never have any idea they made it. You know what I mean? It's just like you're not always making your style. Like Salt is probably not always making everything look like that. You know, he's probably tried some other things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was about to bring him up as an example. Exactly.
Yeah, and you know, it's like you know, we all like to experiment with other styles and stuff, but it's just there's always one thing that you make that, you know, takes off. If you're lucky, you know, you'll have at least one thing that will take off. Yeah. And then that becomes your style. And hopefully it's something that you enjoy making and something that you like, you know?
Yeah, I agree, man. Yeah, dude, so before we let you go here, if you can give everybody a little parting piece of advice and then where we can find you out there in the world of cyberspace.
Yeah, so I guess my parting advice would just be to like stay true to yourself. Don't get too caught up in the money. Don't compare yourself to other people. Compare yourself to yourself. Always just strive to be better at doing you. And if you follow your heart, the money should follow that. And, it's a hard thing to do, and sometimes you just have to work on it a little bit at a time.
Yep, exactly. Well said. Yeah, man. And then where can we find you out there in the social feeds and the interwebs?
Yeah, and so Scoz Glass on IG, on Instagram, and then Scoz Glass on Facebook. That's pretty much it. I'm mostly just on Instagram. That's kind of where I do my thing. So
hell yeah,
follow me there.
You have a website or like a big cartel or that kind of stuff?
I have a big cartel linked off my Instagram. I'm also having a website like right now. Like I'm just about to finish it.
Cool. You doing that all yourself?
My wife's actually been rocking that out. So
awesome.
Good for her.
Yeah. Well, again, brother, it's been an honor talking glass and shop talk, and how to promote yourself and find your voice in a sense, and also the struggles, man, because this shit is not easy. It's a fucking struggle, especially with the medium that we chose to live our lives with. I don't know what the hell we were thinking.
Yeah, right. But yeah, man, it's been awesome. It was an honor to be on your show. So thanks, man. I appreciate it. It was good chatting.
Hell yeah. And I hope you all enjoyed our conversation with Scoz, and definitely check out his stuff on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll have all the links in the show notes along with some pictures and stuff on the website. You can find his episode on wiseguymedia.com/140, and we'll talk to you on the next episode of the Wise Guy Radio Show. Take care. Love you. Peace. This episode of the Wise Guy Radio Show is brought to you by The Flow magazine. Since its inception, the focus of The Flow has been to provide a bond among members of the lampworking community. In every issue, you can enjoy great content with the hottest artists and cutting-edge techniques using the latest industry products. These features, along with the continuation of our Women in Glass edition, Glasscraft Emerging Artist Awards, inspiring gallery showcases, dynamic general interest articles, as well as health and safety information, make The Flow the leading international lampworking journal. For more information or to subscribe to The Flow, go to theflowmagazine.com. That's theflowmagazine.com.